Hello everyone, I'm Muhammad Nanang Suprayogi with my colleague Mary Eka Andestia. We are from Psychology Department, Faculty of Humanities, Bina Nusantara University, Jakarta, Indonesia. Today, I'm happy to be among you to present my paper entitled Emotional Intelligence and Interpersonal Communication among Senior High School Students. Let me start with the abstract. This study aimed to examine the relationship between emotional intelligence and interpersonal communication among senior high school students. This study is a correlational research, used the questionnaires for data collection. The sample of the study were grades 10 and 11 high school students in Jakarta. The result of the study indicate that there is a significant relationship between emotional intelligence and interpersonal communication among high school students, with a value of R 0.683 and the significance is below 0.05. This means that the higher the emotional intelligence of student, the better their interpersonal communication skill. Following to the result of the study, it is recommended to increase the emotional intelligence of students as it will help students in increasing their interpersonal communication skill. Communication is a process of delivering information from one party to another in kind of news or ideas. Communication can be verbal or non-verbal. The non-verbal communication can be done using the body movement, displaying certain gestures such as smiling, shaking their heads, and shrugging. Interpersonal communication is communication involving two or more people in a face-to-face setting. Interpersonal communication can take place anywhere, both formal and informal. Interpersonal communication often occurs in everyday life. For example, at school, people have interpersonal relationship with school friends and teachers, communicate with family members at home, even in a public environment. Effective interpersonal communication will encourage positive relationship between friends, family, community, and all parties who communicate with each other. This will provide benefits and maintain interpersonal relationship. Meanwhile, Robin and George suggest that emotional intelligence is a person's ability to find and process emotional cues and information. Emotional intelligence is a part of social intelligence which have the ability to regulate one's emotions and, and can distinguish between the two and use this information to guide their thoughts and behavior. Emotional intelligence shows the ability to recognize the meaning of emotions and their relationship, to think and solve problems that form the basis of those emotions. Emotional intelligence plays an important role in obtaining good interpersonal communication skills with the help of emotional intelligence. One can recognize emotions, reach out and invoke emotion to help think, understand emotion and their meanings, and control emotion deeply, thereby encouraging the development of emotions and intelligence. Method. This study applied the purposive sampling. The researchers determines the sampling by determining the specific characteristics that are in accordance with the research objectives, so that it's expected to be able to answer research problem. The research instrument used in this study for emotional intelligence is a theory-based Likert scale model developed by Goldman. And for research instrument of interpersonal communications is also theory-based Likert scale developed by DePito. The statistical process technique used in this study is a correlation analysis. We go to the result. The hypothesis test used the person's product moment correlation analysis. The person product moment correlation analysis shows a correlation coefficient of 0.683 and a significance of 0.000. The result conclude that there is a significant and positive relationship between emotional intelligence and interpersonal communications, which means that the higher the emotional intelligence of student, the better their interpersonal communications, and vice versa. The lower the emotional intelligence, the lower the interpersonal communication. Discussion. Based on the result of research conducted by 189 respondents, there is a positive relationship between emotional intelligence and emotion, uh, between interpersonal communications and emotional intelligence, which means if students have emotional intelligence, the interpersonal communication in students will also be high. This explanation, this explanation is supported by the research of Izniarty 2012, which shows that there is a significant relationship between emotional intelligence and interpersonal communication student. According to Goldman, emotional intelligence is a person's ability, including various abilities, the ability to motivate oneself, to withstand frustrations, to control needs or impulses. The conclusions. This study aims to examine the relationship between emotional intelligence and interpersonal communication among senior high school students. The study was conducted with a total of 189 students, with 73 male students and 116 female students. The result of hypothesis testing shows that there is a relationship between emotional intelligence and interpersonal communication, with a number indicated by the correlation coefficient R of 0.683, and the p-value is below uh, below 0.005. The recommendations. As for recommendation, it is suggested to increase the emotional intelligence of students. This can be done through providing the training in managing the emotions in order to control self-awareness and impulsive urge. For students who have higher level of emotional intelligence and interpersonal communication are expected to maintain it and have other friends to become better. And this is the references for our study. Thank you.